We're going to paint a landscape of a place called the Devil's Hole. I believe it's the water area at the Camosun Bog where students from Jules Quesnel visit quite often, or from time to time, where there is also the forest. But the bog is a big area as well. So I went down there in October and took some photographs and discovered that there was lots of water in the bog. There hadn't been any water there in the beginning of September because during the summer everything had dried up. So I went to the bog and I took a picture. Now I've simplified what I saw from a photograph because I wanted to make something easy to draw for students. So I took a black crayon. No, it was an oil pastel. But I think a black crayon would work as well to draw lines down. And then I got the paints out. And the first thing I did was to do the water area. Now I used water, clear water first, and then I took little bits of green and colors that I saw in the photograph and popped them into the wet part. I did a little bit at a time on my watercolor paper. This might work on drawing paper, but a watercolor paper is better for washes. But you could do a drier painting on other paper, but let's hope we get some watercolor paper so we can get this watercolor effect when you wet the paper and then you drop little bits of color in and it spreads around and gives a kind of interesting effect. See, dropping green in. The photograph, the water was very dark, but I was using artistic license to play with the paint and see what it would do. And I wanted it to look sort of like water, so I think it was looking like water. Do you think it looks like water? I think so. Okay, so I speeded this up somewhat so I don't paint that quickly, and I speeded the next part up even faster so that you could. I was just doing areas between the lines, between the oil pastels, because then the water didn't run all over the place and the paint stayed between the lines, which was nice because that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't really sure how this was going to look when I was finished, but that's the way art is. You don't know when you start how it's going to end up. When you're inventing things and making your own colors. If you paint something like this, you can paint your own landscape, make your own trees if you want, and put the colors in that you feel like putting in. And enjoy the paint because it's kind of fun to see the paint and what it'll do. And we have so many nice colors in our paint boxes now. So I let that dry before I went back to it. Now when I went back to it, it was really dry, okay? I let it dry before I started painting again. So then I did the bushes at the front, and I thought I'd use some yellow. This isn't exactly like the photograph, but I was using artistic license. I was just comparing, putting colors against colors because I wanted them to show up. And there were bits of yellow in the bushes in front of me and lots of green and lots of sort of dark brown. But I was painting and enjoying the colors, so I wasn't following anything too particular. But I did have a photograph that I had based this place on. There. Then I started on the other side. Now, remember the paint was dry in the water when I did this, so it wasn't going to run into the water. And I was doing the bank on the other side where there were more bushes. I simplified the shapes into lumps, sort of lumps, but they're really the bushes, where the bushes were. And there was lots of grass and bushes, and where the little birds live in there. The little towhee bird. There's a little towhee bird that lives in the bog, and whenever I go over there, he pops out and pops back in. But he's a sweet little bird. He's a very happy little bird. He's got a bright orangey red breast with white, and he has white spots on his back. He has black wings and a black head, and he has a red eye. I looked up towhees online, and I found the most wonderful website called the Audubon website, where you can look up a bird, type the name of the bird in, and it will give you all kinds of information about a bird. The song it sings, there are little recordings of the bird songs, and also quite a number of photographs, especially of towhees. I think there were 5 or 6 beautiful photographs of towhees. And I think I fell in love with that little bird. I didn't even know it existed until I started doing this project. Take a look for him if you ever go over to the bog. I think he lives in the bushes, and he just pops out every once in a while. If you're very quiet, he might pop out. And you can hear his song is exactly like the one on the Audubon website. They have several different songs of towhees. I'm not sure if I'm saying towhee correctly. It might be towie or towie or towhee, but it looks like towhee, Towhee, towhee. So this is like coloring now. I'm coloring my shapes. Now I'm doing the trees in the forest, and I'm doing them darker than the background. And I was using some blues, I think, and some greens, just putting some dark color in there. You can speed this up when it's posted on YouTube. You can speed any video up to 2 times faster. So if you want to zip through a video of mine, you can put it up to 2 times faster or 1.50 faster, and move forward quickly. So anyway, I was finished, and then I got some paper and I did a bear with colored pencils on black paper. I made a bear. I thought I could glue him in there and I'd have a bear. And then I thought, I've made some frogs for you as well. And so I colored one from a sheet that I've given your teachers of frogs, and I colored that one with markers, and that could be pasted on your watercolor with glue or a glue stick. I made a frog out of green paper as well. You could make any kind of animals. You can even, yes, there's a little owl that I made. He's a group from another project, but I'll pop him in too. Hope you like this. There you go. Done.